All right, let me
You
get
can
started. I
start.
still got prints right now.
Mr. Chairman, did you sprint from your car to your office?
That was quick.
That was quick. You're
That's
good.
it. I was halfway. I was more than halfway there.
Okay.
Something's wrong with my phone. I can't get my mail. Oh my God. And I don't have my agenda in front of me. Bobby, do you have the agenda in front of you?
Yes, I do. I can start with, so let's convene the meeting of the
Okay.
Education Committee. It is 10 after 11. And so I just wanted to say that I'm guessing that this might be our last meeting unless we get some bills thrown our way. We have 8 bills that we're going to be touching up on today and discussing and hopefully passing them out of committee, some to approach, some to the floor. I just wanted to then, well, I'm all set with my comments. I'm going to pass it on to my co-chair, Senator McCrory, and then we'll have some words from the ranking members, and then we'll continue on.
Oh, thank you there, Mr. Co-Chair. I just want to echo again what he said. This probably is going to be our last official meeting. Again, I want to thank all you guys for taking your time out and selecting to be on this committee. Like I said, it's always the most important committee in the state of Connecticut. We do have 8 very good bills here that we'll have to discuss and get out of committee. Some of them are what we call a work in progress. It's not a final, it will not be the final language, but I'll ask that you all commit to getting these bills out of committee so we continue the work that we've been doing all year. So with that being said, we'll pass it back to our ranking members.
Senator Berthel.
Good morning, Representative Sanchez, Senator McCrory, my esteemed chairs. It looks like my ranking member has still not joined us yet.
She's here.
Oh, she is.
Her.
Oh, there she is. She just popped in. So I would echo what both Representative Sanchez and Senator McCrory have already spoken to. I will say, excuse me, that there may be some discussion today regarding some of these bills. Senator, as you spoke to a moment ago, some of them are work in progress, and I know that some of the members of my caucus have some concerns. So there may be some flags. We may not be able to do everything on consent today, whatever, but we'll get through it. And again, I would echo, and I've said this as well, Doug, that this is the best committee in the whole building. We have the highest charge of any committee anywhere. I don't care about finance. I don't care about approps. I don't care about what anyone says about all those other committees. We're protecting the future of the next generation, the work that we do on the Public Education Committee for the state of Connecticut. And I think that's a pretty heavy burden that we carry and a pretty high honor that we all collectively share on this committee. So proud to be here again for I don't know how many years in a row this is, but I'll defer now with the chair's indulgence to my co-ranking member, Representative McCarty. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I am so pleased that I didn't miss any of this important meeting this morning. I'm looking forward to robust discussion on so many of the bills that are in front of us today. There's I think some really important areas that we're going to look at, and I'm pleased to be here. I echo the comments of everyone saying that I truly enjoy being part of this committee, and I look forward to our discussion this morning. So thank you.
Thank you, Representative, and the best committee on earth with the best ranking members and co-chairs. So let's move on to the bills to consider for JF action. So we have the first one on the list is SB number 977, an act concerning the virtual learning JFS to approach LCO 6105. Do I have a motion?
So move. Seconded, Haynes.
Okay, motion by Senator Miller and second by Representative Haynes. Do we have comments? I have Representative McCarty.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Just for clarification and for the benefit of the committee, this is a bill that proposes to have the Department of Education adopt uniform standards for virtual learning. And it also requires that the department perform an audit and to report back on their findings. We know that during the pandemic that there was a lot of disparity throughout the various districts on how virtual learning was being performed. So I think having an audit is an excellent piece. And I know with discussion with the Department of Education that they have asked for a little more time. And I think that this proposal allows that. And then finally, it does identify what should be an excused or a not excused absence in a virtual learning platform. Do I have that correct, Mr. Chairman?
I think absolutely, but also I think it requires SDE to come up with a guideline in determining when, first of all, approving the virtual learning platforms that school districts are providing, and also guidelines on how and when they will be able to utilize it, specifically around snow days and things, or things of that magnitude. So you're absolutely right. Yes, SDA will be developing those guidelines.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Right.
And I'm looking forward to moving this bill along. Thank you.
Yes. Who's up next?
Curry, Representative Curry.
Representative Curry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just following up on Representative McCarty's comments and the importance of doing this comprehensive audit. And I know we had some discussion earlier today about, not making this as prescriptive as we might like, but I think it might be important that as we continue to move this along prior to it hitting the floor, that we might want to work in language around the special ed and the EL population to ensure that part of that audit is definitely focused on those students, because we do know that there was a wide range of opportunities that were not provided during.
Absolutely, I agree. Again, this bill is probably still work in progress before we move it all the way out to get to the floor, but we'll definitely take that in consideration. Who's next?
Representative Belinsky.
Representative Belinsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Mr. Chair. I want to echo and also champion the comments made by Rep. Curry and Rep. McCarty. It is so vital to do what you, Mr. Chairman, said, which is provide the guidelines. And doing it without providing them as a mandate is very, very important. I just will an observation from my district is that there's and I think this holds true across a lot of districts, there's an awful lot of unhappiness with distance learning, virtual learning, whatever you want to call what we've done for the past year. I've had many parents write me and say, there's no place for this crap in our schools. And, they don't understand the essence of the bill as we understand it, which is to find its place and give guidelines for how to use it. And as you mentioned, Mr. Chairman, it also could potentially be a creative way to avoid extending school years because of snow days and things like that. So I am in complete support of the bill as a work in process, and I thank you for raising.
Thank you. And I'll just say, we know that virtual learning is here to stay, whether we like it or not. It's going to be a part of education as we move forward. We just want to make sure we get in front of it and we have guidelines in place for all districts to be prepared and have it available for our children. Distance learning, whether we like it or not, is here to stay. But we just want to make sure we got great guidelines around it and not using it as an excuse to or in place of what we know that really works for our children, which is in-person learning. Who's up next, Representative Sanchez?
Representative Wielander.
Representative Wielander.
Thank you, Mr. Chairs. I just wanted to, I think, echo some of the concerns that I have heard and also throw my support behind the audit. I think that's a great next step in making sure that all of our schools are in line with what the best practices are for definitely a challenging process of teaching. my concerns, I've also heard from my district about whether or not moving forward with this would put distance learning or remote learning on as the priority. And so I'm very relieved to hear that we are not making this the priority in our teaching experiences and our practices, and that going forward, we will make sure that we are aligning our remote learning to be the most efficient and effective, but are not making it a requirement or are making it the highest priority for our districts. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
Representative Nolan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I just wanted to just one more time mention, I'm so happy that distance learning is going to be continued. I just want to make sure that in the bill, whether it's going to be in the bill or whether it's going to be a suggestion for SDE, that distance learning can be used for suspensions or being homesick, snow days, when a boiler's out, when there's no water in the building or there's an electrical outage. Are we leaving it up to the schools to work that out, or are we going to be able to do amendments saying that on these days, children who are absent or out of school can use virtual learning so that they don't lose that classroom experience?
So again, and that's a very good question, Representative. That's why we're going to have SDE create the guidelines on when virtual learning will be acceptable and be a avenue that we can use. We're not leaving it up to individual school districts. We're not leaving it up to individual schools. SDE will set the guidelines, and then we will follow accordingly. And that's why we need to push this language forward so we can get those guidelines in place and also get those audits in place so that we know that all school districts will have the necessary materials and equipment that's needed, not only have it, but also have a policy in place so when it can be utilized.
Thank you. I just had numerous people ask, and I just wanted to publicly let them hear it. It's going to be taken care of. So I appreciate that. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you. Who's next, Representative Sanchez?
Representative Parker.
Thank you. Thank you to the chairs. And I am in a parked car, everybody, being safe here. I just,
I'm trust you're safe.
Thank you, Senator.
I'm trust you're parked.
I want to follow up on what many of my colleagues have already shared, really, which is just to express publicly here that I have received lots of concern from teachers and other administrators and educators in my district. And I want to be very clear that my intention, and I don't think the intention of this committee, is to make virtual learning a substitute for in-person learning. I think we all prioritize in-person. We believe that SDE does. And the intention of this bill is to ensure that should the worst case scenario continue or come back in the future, we're better prepared next time. So I think there are some improvements that can be made to the bill in terms of, again, some things that colleagues have mentioned already, and I look forward to that process as we move forward. I'll be voting yes today because I'm supportive of making sure we are being best prepared for what's to come. But I really mostly just want to give some thanks, especially to all the teachers and educators, administrators that have done such a great job already, but knowing that there have been gaps and this bill is trying to help cover those going forward. So just wanted to share my concerns and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Parker. Representative Leeper.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I want to echo just so much of what my colleagues have said. And then also just, I recognize that this bill is still a work in progress. And so I will be voting yes so that this work can continue. But I just want to express an interest in having the audit completed first so that we have all of the information to best inform our uniform standards for going forward. And then also just an explicit inclusion of what the thresholds would be to merit a district going into virtual learning, just so that it's explicit that this isn't something that we take lightly. We really do prioritize in-person learning for the well-being of children and teachers. I think we likely have most of us heard from teachers that this has been an extremely challenging time for them as well. And just so that it's very clear that this is not to supplant in-person instruction. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Representative Fiorello.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to add a slightly different perspective on online schooling, and hope that if not now, then at least in the future, this committee will take on this conversation. I think we all agree that kids learn in so many different ways, and we've really seen that during COVID. And I just want to bring to our attention that there is something called an online public school. There's 45 of them across 29 different states. And as we study the future of virtual learning, I think Connecticut could also be one of these states that has an accredited public online school option for families. And this is for people who might be health compromised or children who suffer from bullying. I mean, there's many different reasons, personal reasons why families might want to take an accredited public online option. But I think in many ways, we want to be on the forefront. And this is something we should consider with our tax dollars to offer an online option. My children are online educated. This is not to mandate it, but to provide a choice. And it's been incredibly positive in my family as we do online education. So thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, and thank you for throwing that out there. I think that it sounds like that's something that might be coming down the pipe eventually. You know, this is Connecticut, though. It takes us 100 years to do change, but if we start now, maybe we get it done by 3001. Who's next?
Representative McCarty.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the second time. I would just like to reiterate what some of my colleagues have said and just assure everyone that this certainly is not meant to take precedent over in-person learning. We know that in-person learning is the optimal form of learning, and that we will be looking and working in collaboration with the Department of Education to set up the appropriate guidelines and when and how virtual learning should be used. Also, SDE will be preparing those guidelines for training for our teachers. So I just wanted to re-emphasize that it certainly isn't meant to take the place of in-person learning. But as we just came through this pandemic and we saw so many disparities in learning throughout the districts, we think that having something in place with basic and uniform standard is the way that we should be proceeding. So thank you for the second time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Representative Comey.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Yes, we didn't talk a lot about the special ed population that I'm really looking forward to seeing how they can play a really active role in sharing their experiences with virtual learning. I have actually heard some wonderful success stories from students who have been unable to progress in traditional classrooms, and through this sort of pandemic experience and their access and their families' access to online virtual learning environments, it's reduced their stress in the classroom and allowed them to blossom and to learn. And I know that a family that I've been working with has said, I cannot envision my child going back to a traditional experience where he's exclusively in a classroom. His needs are being met now in a combination of ways. So let's not forget to get that wide variety of experiences to the table so that we can individually meet the needs of the special ed population and, as you mentioned earlier, the ELL population.
Thank you. Anyone else? Representative Sanchez.
That's it. That's it. No more hands up.
Okay. Did we start a consent calendar?
No.
Mr. Chairman, we haven't. I would like to make a motion to start a consent calendar.
There's a motion on the floor to start a consent calendar.
Representative Cook seconds.
I'm sorry. Representative Cook, you second it? You're seconded by Representative Cook.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we place this item on the consent calendar.
Okay. Any objections? Seeing none, just Representative Cook needs to take her hand down.
Sure.
All right. So okay, let's place this item on the consent. Next item up, we have SB 1033, an act concerning the inclusion of computer science and financial literacy as part of the high school graduation requirements. We have JF to the floor.
So moved.
LCO 6172.
LCO 6172.
Senator, you said JF to the floor. That's JFS to the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry, JFS to the floor. I didn't see the S. Thank you. That's why they pay you the big money, Christopher. Appreciate you.
Good insurance.
All right. Any questions on SB 1033?
Representative McCarty.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would just like to begin by saying I'm very much in favor and support allowing computer science in this bill to count toward the 9 credits in STEM, in the STEM requirement. And so I think that's a very good addition to the bill. I know that we did have considerable discussion within our caucus about offering financial literacy, particularly with a cross-curricular graduation requirement. That raised many concerns, one being that first, we don't know how that would work and what it would mean to say if you were in an algebra class or some other, what amount of time that would take, would it diminish that particular course? So we have some concerns about the way the bill is laid out. That's not to say that we all are very supportive of the concept of financial literacy and having an experience in high school with financial literacy. I can say that in our, which we'll get to later, in the model K through 8 curriculum, we do have topics concerning financial literacy. But for that reason, I would prefer to see this bill delayed until we are able to really come to a good description of what do we mean by financial literacy. I think we all said that we want our students to graduate and be literate on how to use a checkbook, balance their accounts, and to really have a good understanding of what it means to be financially literate. But we feel that, or at least I'm speaking only for myself right now, that adding another requirement, and we could say, I've heard someone say this is just a may, but it's actually a requirement on the school boards to add this as a requirement. And my understanding is currently we only have approximately 33 districts or so that offer financial literacy. So even though I see the attempt to do something with a cross-curricular requirement, it's a little vague. It's not specific enough in my thinking to really get a class on or an understanding of financial literacy. So for those reasons, I will be flagging this with a no vote, even though it's upsetting to me because I really want to see the computer science piece go forward. So I just have significant concerns about how we're going to do the financial literacy piece. So I think there's a better way to do it, and I would hope that we could have more discussions going forward. So thank you for the opportunity to express my concerns.
Thank you. Anyone who's up next? Bobby?
I just wanted to bring up too that the date was pushed out. This is one that I think we considered pushing the date out, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. We pushed it. Yeah, we pushed it.
I was going to ask Chris.
Go ahead. Okay.
If I may respond to that, Mr. Chairman, yes, it does. It's for the class of 2023, but it's still haven't gone through this pandemic. We're trying to catch up to where we were. And I just feel that it's too much of a burden to put this on the districts at this time because they have to make the prep.
Yeah, I think we pushed the date out to 2024.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so there was additional substitute language prepared this morning. I think the clerk has had some connectivity issues, so maybe it hasn't, she hasn't been able to email it out, but language in section 1 was changed so that the new requirement or the financial literacy requirement would be kicked out 2 years, so that wouldn't, like in the bill, it was originally for the classes graduating 2023. Now there's new language that says that it commences with the classes graduating in 2025. So that would be kids who aren't in high school yet. So it would push it out 2 years from where it was in the original bill.
Any other questions? Who's next? Representative Sanchez.
We have Representative Carney.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I do appreciate the reasoning behind this bill. I'm actually a strong supporter of financial literacy being a requirement in schools and being taught in public schools. I guess I'm just trying to understand this bill a little bit more and how it seeks to have that personal financial management requirement. So am I correct that this one credit could almost be a dual credit that counts towards both personal financial management and towards one of the 9 credits for STEM through you, Mr. Chair?
I believe the intent of this legislation is to allow personal finance management, which will be a class, to count towards one of the 9 STEM requirements that we have for requirements for graduation. We know that currently some of the buckets that you per se that we can utilize to require a STEM requirement is going to be technology, engineering, and of course the math courses. And so what we're looking to do here is provide another opportunity or another option for students to take to require that to fulfill that STEM requirement. It's not a mandate. It's just another elective that students can use to reach that requirement.
Okay, so in this legislation, then we're not mandating that students take personal financial management?
No, it's not a mandate. It's an option.
Okay. All right. And I guess I'm trying to kind of understand section 2 as well. Is it saying that if someone could gain a credit in personal financial management by taking a whole, host of other courses that with certain units that could count towards that 1 credit in financial management? I'm trying to understand that.
So Chris, you want to explain section 2? Because I heard about the cross curricular graduation requirements. Can you want to explain that a little bit? Or
Yep, sorry, playing with the mute button. So section 2 permits a student to earn their credit for the personal financial management by taking, it says cumulatively meet the 40-minute class period by taking separate courses that meet the provisions of that requirement for financial literacy. And it does reference the phrase cross-curricular graduation, so that a portion of the curriculum for such credits corresponds to the subject matter. So, a student may be able to use a portion of maybe an economics class and maybe another math class or stuff like that. Like if a district doesn't offer a specific personal financial management course, or if a student elects not to take that course, they could otherwise earn and meet and satisfy that credit by sort of putting together a potpourri of things, in the hopes that based on the guidance like the district and stuff.
I would say I think that section has to be flushed out a little better also, even for me. But I will say this, I will encourage us to get this passed, get this out of committee, and we'll definitely clean up section 2, because it does sound a little bit confusing. And even the start date probably should be pushed out also, once we can clean up the part about the cross-curricular graduation requirement.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
We'll work on that.
Okay. And, just because this is an important issue to me, and I think it's important to students, and really, as we go into the future, this is something that I think would have been very beneficial to a lot of us on this committee had we learned it in school.
Absolutely.
I think we need to make sure we do it right. After our caucus last night, I was kind of looking at what some other states are doing. I spoke to one of my best friends who's a public school teacher in Queens, New York, about how they do it. So I'd love the opportunity to chat with both you and Chairman Sanchez about how I think we could actually really make this effective for the future of our kids. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Belinsky.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My concerns have been largely addressed by the chair, because in my initial reading, I saw the shalls as they applied to schools, and then I didn't go deeply enough to see that there's the may as far as the inclusion of this particular curricula. But that said, I align my comments with Representative McCarty's. I would really like to see a little bit more definition of where we're going to locate this option, and what flexibility will exist on the part of other districts to interpret it differently. Because, as been mentioned, there are 33 districts currently teaching financial literacy. And I would consider that somewhere in that population, there's probably some good existing best practice that we should be learning from. So right now, the concept is a good one, but I'm afraid of the ambiguity of taking this into a place where we subrogate local return, or local control. So that's just my concern, and I would be willing, to accept a little bit of a slowing down, but am prepared to vote to move this out of committee with just a little flag. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next, Bobby?
Representative Devlin.
Rep. Devlin.
Morning, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much. You did address some of my questions in speaking to Rep. Kearney, but I just want to go back to that again, because we are on LCO 6102, correct?
No,
No,
we have
6172.
Okay.
Yeah, we have, our clerk is having connectivity issues, so I don't think she was able to get that out. And Chris Cordima did explain it earlier, but we can also explain it again. It's about pushing out the date. I think it was originally 2023, and we pushed out the date to 2025. Is that correct, Chris?
Yep. Yes. Yes, the date has been pushed out to 2025.
Okay. And first, let me just say as well, I am fully in support of financial management education for our kids. It's something I got in my high school days in public school. I can still recall it vividly, and it can be really impactful. And not only of how to manage your finances, but also in determining what kind of career you may want to be able to afford what you kind of map out in the program, depending on how it is laid out. So two things, I'm happy to hear the push out to 25. I know that we had some, or I certainly received some feedback locally that even the class of 25, that could be a challenge because they're already mapping out their curriculum. And the other thing I just would really like to see is, as you were describing, Chris was describing section 2, that does feel awfully loose. So when you're piecemealing something together, what sort of consistency is there, and how is to ensure that they meet that criteria? So those are my.
I think you went mute, but I actually agree with your points, and we're definitely going to clean up section 2. Who's next?
Thank you, Representative. Representative Welander.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just received the substitute language and I was just trying to read through it. Am I correct, though, that this would still be a graduation requirement?
I don't understand your. What do you? Can you be specific? Because it's an option. It's not a requirement. It's an option. It can be used to fulfill a requirement.
Okay.
There's nine STEM required. There's nine STEM credits required for graduation. This course could be used to fulfill it, just like you fulfill a STEM course by taking a Calculus 2 class. You can do the same thing for this class. I mean,
I'm not sure if this is reflected in 6172. I'm still looking at the printout for 6102, the original substitute language, and it does say the one credit which may count toward the requirement described in subdivision 2 of this subsection shall be in personal financial management. I just want to clarify whether or not it is a requirement, but I do appreciate the committee's willingness to push it back so we can make sure that this important curriculum does get into our schools in a way that can actually be used to be helpful.
Thank you. Who's next? Representative Leeper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairs. I won't repeat all of the testimony that's been shared already, but I just also would add, I'm thankful for pushing back the date, but also would add that a full credit requirement is a pretty hefty burden on a student. And so I will vote yes to continue the conversation on this, because I think that ensuring every child graduates from high school with a solid understanding of financial literacy is essential to being successful in life. But I think that we could continue the discussion to see if a half a credit is sufficient for that goal. Thank you, Mr. Chairs.
That's a very good point, because this can coincide with our civics course, which is a half-credit course, and that's a good question. We'll continue. That's why it's important to pass legislation. We can continue the conversation. Representative McCarty.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I certainly appreciate your willingness to continue to work on this bill and the comments of my colleagues. But I do want to make it clear, just so we're all under the same understanding, that currently, and I don't have the new substitute language, but I'm so pleased to hear that at least the date went back out to, goes up to 2025. But my understanding is that it's a requirement to have financial literacy, but there's flexibility in how that credit is used. In other words, you can use it to meet various requirements. Am I correct in that? But it still is asking the districts to have financial literacy, but it's offering, the may comes in where how it's being flexible in how you achieve that credit, but it is actually asking to have financial literacy as a requirement, but then the flexibility comes in how you can use it. Is that correct or not? Because if you're telling me that it's not in any way a mandate on the boards right now, then that's a whole different discussion, but it's not my understanding. I see it as a mandate to have the financial literacy, but a flexibility in how you meet the requirement with STEM or cross curricular. So can you just go over that again?
So if it's not spelled out right now, by the time this bill gets to the floor, I believe the recommendation or the ask will be can we use personal finance course, which is right now a year-long course, and that can be up for discussion also because it could be used as a half-year course. But let's just say it's a full year course. The intent of the language is to be able to use that 1 year personal finance course to fulfill a STEM requirement. That's what we're asking.
Well, and I understand that, Mr. Chairman, but also we only have probably 30-something schools currently that offer financial literacy, and that's my concern. So while if there's going to be flexibility to allow the districts, not mandate it, but have it as a goal and work toward it and then use it and have flexibility, that's a difference. So I'm going to have to be a no today, but I'm more than happy to continue to work on this so that we do get it right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I understand your concern because right now only 33 districts are doing it. The idea is to encourage other school districts to provide this course, and they can also use it to fulfill their STEM requirement, but we're not mandating it. But I'll tell you this, I would like to mandate it, but it won't be mandated.
So then again, so now you're clarifying, so it's not a mandate at all. In other words, these districts can just continuously work to try to offer financial literacy, but we're not going to require that they have financial literacy. If they do have financial literacy, then they can use it.
Use it for 1 to 9 STEM.
No. Okay.
Exactly.
You can get that in writing.
Well, we'll make it clear by the time we get this bill on the floor. I'll make it clear. But I will tell you, I think it should be, and I'm moving in that direction.
No, and I definitely appreciate that. I just don't want to put an extra burden right now. But if there's flexibility, not a mandate, and then how it can be used, I would be fine with it. But I'll just put the no there so I can work with you to get that language correct.
Thank you. Representative Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for clarifying that vote. I think my concern still is in reading the testimony from our acting commissioner of education. She had said that they were against this at this point because, again, it seems to be this question, is it mandated or is it not? And that would be my only, I think this is a fabulous course load for our students to be able to take. And I am also glad it's out to 25. That still impacts the current freshmen. But the concern, as the ranking member stated, is whether or not, in fact, it's a mandate. And I appreciate your assurances, but I'd have to flag it for that. And I'd like to see that language change. So I'm going to be a no for today, but I do appreciate everything that you said, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions on this particular bill?
No other hands are up.
All right, seeing none, I think we need to call have a roll call vote, and we're gonna leave the votes open till Luz. How long do we need to leave the votes
I think
open?
maybe 1 hour until after we're done, about an hour.
Okay, well, 1 hour after the completion of the meeting. Luz, can you please call the roll?
Sure. You still have, I need a motion and I need a second on this bill. You haven't made a motion or second if you want a roll call.
There's a motion on the floor. I thought there's a motion on the floor for a roll call vote for Senate Bill 1033, Act concerning the inclusion of computer science and financial literacy as part of the high school requirement. Can I get a second?
Second.
It's been properly seconded.
That's a JFS to the floor, LCO 6172.
Right.
Correct.
It was.
Can I just get clarity on who motioned and who seconded, please?
Representative Belinsky, motion.
Seconded by Nolan.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Representative Sanchez.
Representative Sanchez, yes.
Senator McCrory.
Yes.
Representative McCarty.
Representative McCarty votes no.
Senator Bertho,
Senator Berthel votes yes.
Representative Barry,
Representative Barry votes yes.
Senator Dorothy Abrams.
Senator Darty Abrams votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Belinsky,
Representative Belinsky votes yes.
Representative Callahan.
Representative Callahan votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Candelaria.
Representative Candelaria votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Carney.
Representative Carney votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Champagne.
Senator Champagne votes no.
Thank you. Representative Cook.
Representative Cook votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Comey.
Representative Comey votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Curry.
Representative Curry votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Devlin.
Representative Devlin votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Exum.
Representative Exum votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Felipe.
Representative Felipe votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Fiorello.
Representative Fiorello votes no.
Thank you. Senator Flexer. Senator Flexer. Representative Jenga.
Representative Jenga votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Gibson.
Representative Gibson votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Haynes.
Representative Haynes votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Harding.
Representative Harding votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Johnson.
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Kennedy.
Representative Kennedy votes no to flag.
Thank you. Senator Kushner.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Leeper.
Representative Leeper votes yes.
Thank you. Representative McGee.
Representative McGee votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Napoli.
Representative Napoli votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Nolan.
Representative Nolan votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Parker. Representative Parker.
Representative Parker.
Representative Pettit.
Representative Pettit votes no.
Thank you. Representative Manny Sanchez. Representative Smith.
Representative Smith votes yes.
Representative Smith, can you turn on your camera? There you go. There you go.
Representative Smith votes yes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Representative Beach.
Representative Beach votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Willander.
Representative Wieland votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Winfield. And Senator Miller.
Senator Miller votes yes.
Thank you, Senator Miller.
All right. Is that it?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next piece of legislation we have is SB 1034, an act concerning minority teacher recruitment and retention with LCO number 6088. We have a JFS to approach.
So moved.
It's been properly introduced. I heard Brandon McGee voice in there, and properly seconded by who?
Senator Berthel.
Senator Berthel. Any questions? Representative McCarthy.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I just would like to comment that I think this is a very important piece of legislation. It moves to increase minority teacher recruitment and retention, working with the RESCs, and that this program is also offered outside of our alliance districts, which I'm very pleased because I think we all, in all of our districts, want to increase minority teacher, not only the recruitment, but the retention. And the beauty of this program is that many, and we're hopeful that these candidates will stay in the districts where they are, where they're having their residency. So I'm very supportive, particularly of that section 1 and all of the other sections. I think it's going to make a difference. And I also appreciate the video training module that's in the bill to look at implicit bias in hiring practices. And I think overall it's a very positive proposal, and I'm looking forward to supporting it. Thank you, Chairman McCrory.
Thank you, Representative. Any other questions on SB 1034? Fiorello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to add as part of this conversation that sometimes I look to wonder if we need government to take on particular roles and do these things. And in this instance, I do feel that we have an amazing example of the charter schools who do a great job of hiring minority teachers that reflect the community and retaining them and doing a great job of teaching the kids. So I'm happy for this to leave the committee and go to approps. But I do feel we have an example that's already working without creating this entire certification and retention program. But thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else?
That's it on the hands.
Seeing none.
Mr. Chair, I'd move that we place this item on consent.
There's a motion to place this item on consent, and I believe we can do that. Anyone?
Second.
Properly second. Seeing no reason why not, let's put it on consent. Then let's move on. Next up, SB 1035, an act concerning the development of a new pre-service performance assessment for teacher preparation programs. I have a JFS to the floor with an LCO number 6100. Any discussion? Representative McCarty, I'm gonna have all questions channeled over to Representative, my co-chair, Bobby Sanchez, with this piece of legislation. Representative McCarty, you're up.
Actually, it's more of a comment than a question. I just would like to recognize the leadership of our committee for the spirit in which we worked on this proposal and to looking to create a task force for EdTPA for our pre-service assessment and to looking really to get a good balance. I know the leadership has been very cooperative in trying to put a task force together so we can hear both sides of EdTPA and to look also, I know Representative Sanchez, this is very dear to him about the costs that's associated with EdTPA assessment. So this task force will look at the costs, look at what other states are doing with EdTPA, and then reporting back so that we can make a determination about a feasibility of whether or not an in-state assessment is worthwhile. But I want to recognize and go on the record by recognizing our leadership because this was such an important proposal, and I can't thank you enough for your cooperation in slowing it down, taking a good look, and let's do it right. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative. Absolutely. You know, there was a task force about 2 years ago and the conclusion basically was the same. And I think that we need to bring more students to the table. And I know that Senator Berthel also had some questions when we talked about this in screening. And I felt that, moving forward with another task force, this time where myself, Doug, and the ranking members would pick some of the people that would be on this task force would probably bring out more information that we truly need, because I still have that concern about students paying an additional amount of money for certification. These students graduate from school with a substantial amount of debt, and we just continue to put more and more on them, and that's a big concern. So I think Senator Berthel has his hand up. Senator Berthel.
I do. Thank you, Representative Sanchez. I would align my comments with those of Representative McCarty. And also, I share her viewpoint that this was we're in a good spot in terms of, I don't want to call it compromise, but I think this was actually a good spot for us to be in today. I listened very carefully, specifically to your concerns. We share leadership of this committee. I think this truly demonstrates what we talk about all the time in this committee, that we're able to put our collective heads together, our opinions, our passion about certain items, and to bring forth something that we think will take us in the right direction, as opposed to something perhaps that would have been maybe too drastic of a move to take in the original language of the bill. So I appreciate your willingness to work with this as well, and to get us to the point we're at with this bill. I think we're in a good spot to really, as you just said, to make a really good assessment of what we're doing. Again, teachers are the most integral part of what we do in educating the future, and educating these children. So we want to make sure that they are assessed properly, and that we're providing the same standard of measure for everyone. And I think that this bill will allow us to really measure things the right way, and then come up with or decide how we measure things, I should say, and then come up with what is the best measurement tool. So thank you again for your leadership on this. And I don't think there's any other questions, Mr. Chair. So since I have an open mic here, I'll move to place this on consent without objection, unless there's other comments.
I don't see any other
objections
or objections. Okay, I guess this can go on consent. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have House Bill number 6619, an act concerning the development of a kindergarten to 8th grade model curriculum. We have a JFF to approach with an LCO number 6087.
So moved.
It's been properly moved. And can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
It's been seconded by Representative Exum. Any discussion?
We have Representative McCarty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to comment that I'm very pleased to see this proposal today. As we all know, that the Education Committee receives so many requests all the time. And so I think this is an answer, and more than appreciative to our former commissioner and our current commissioner in the Department of Education for really supporting this idea of a K-8 model curriculum. I'm pleased to let you know that in this model curriculum, there is personal financial management and financial literacy, so we can be supportive there as we work on the other piece. And so I'm just very pleased to see the cooperation of the Department of Education to get this model curriculum in place. And my question is, did we, I think we spoke to them, but could you confirm that by January 1st, 2023, is that correct? Is that the correct date for what they believe they can have to develop the curriculum. Originally I thought it was a little longer, but I'm pleased to see if that's correct.
So we met with SDE last week. They never deviated on the fact that they can't reach their goal by that specific date. We will continue to have a conversation with them and see if they need to have this pushed out a little further. But when we met with them last week, Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't an issue of them not being able to reach that quote unquote deadline.
No, it wasn't. And we did ask them to provide us with any additional language if they wanted, if they needed to, and they did not. So I'm guessing that it's okay. And again, there's always concern about staff. And I mentioned this to the commissioner that with the additional dollars that are coming in, it just makes sense that you have 2 years where you'll have additional funds and you can actually hire people, contract people to do this work for the next 2 years. So I personally don't feel like the staffing issue would be an issue moving forward.
And thank you for that clarification, Mr. Chairman. And then just a final comment, I think it's very timely that we have the Native American Studies and the Asian Pacific American Studies included in this design of the K-8 model curriculum. So thank you for the opportunity to make my comments.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Representative Belinsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a very naive question, so forgive me, but don't we already have what we would call a model curriculum for K-8?
No.
Absolutely no.
We do not? I find that shocking. And I agree that we do need it. Question is, there are times when I worry about passing legislation that may not actually be necessary to legislate. If the SDE is cooperating and they are committed to partnering on this, is it really something that we need to legislate as opposed to allowing them to just do their jobs? And that's it. It's like I said, it's a little bit of a naive question. It just strikes me as counterintuitive that we have to legislate something that the department is bought in on.
No, well, so we do not have a model curriculum. We have standards, we have all these other things, but SD has never created a model curriculum, especially for K-8. This is something that I think is very important because what we do see often, and although we all realize that this curriculum is not going into your schools, this is not something that will be required by your school districts to utilize. It's very important to just have a baseline, something that all children should be able to accomplish, whether in one district or another. What you typically often find, especially in communities where children, it's a lot of mobility, they're moved from one school district to another school district, and they can be in the same class, grade level, and one district could be doing something completely different, like have nothing to do with what those children were doing in another district. And those kids go in there and be completely lost. And we all saw during this pandemic, when it was time to create curriculum and put it on social, put it on broadband, and put it out there through the internet, there was nothing out there for some school districts. There was nothing there. And so if we had something like this in place, SD could easily send down a curriculum from their office to school districts that were not prepared, and our kids would have been up and running in 11, and the opportunity for loss of learning would have been minimized. So that's the reason why we want to have something on the shelf ready to go for something for communities to have if something like this ever happens again, or something they SD create that will pass. That is, I would say, it is research-based and evidence-based, And if schools districts are struggling with their curriculum and they're not finding that their kids are successful, maybe they can go to SD and look at something that's modeled that has been proven successful and they can implement it into their school districts. So that's the reason why we're trying to push this legislation. And I'm done with it. Any other questions?
Representative Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're still discussing the model curriculum, if I'm not mistaken. I mean,
absolutely,
back and forth. We are.
Yes.
Okay. It just real briefly, Mr. Chairman, and please bear my indulgence. I just wanted to comment on the model curriculum insofar as I had designs on using this to also introduce a comprehensive task force for American government and civics, which I brought up and I know was not reserved for public hearing. Do want to just make the case again before the full committee. One of the initial House bills, one that I had introduced and had gotten endorsement from the Secretary of the State's office as well as the Connecticut Bar Association, was the establishment of a task force to enhance civics education K through 12 in the state of Connecticut. This is a reaction to a lot of the things that have been going on over the past many years and were particularly compelling to me when I drove home from our swearing in back on January 6th. I would like to just keep that in mind for further consideration by the committee. The task force, particularly because unlike STEM curriculum, civics can be very subjective, as of course we know, and the task force was designed with specific language in order to provide the most bipartisan, the most non-ideological approach to this from all sides. But I think it's something that is desperately needed in Connecticut, throughout the rest of the country, in view of our most recent history, and would like again respectfully to submit that as a concept for whatever goes through here in terms of any placeholder bills or anything else reporting out of education. And I thank you and appreciate you for your indulgence.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Smith. But I also wanted to let you know that in the substitute language, we did add civics and citizenship, including digital citizenship and media literacy. So, I mean, my thought is that instead of having a task force, you can utilize those individuals to work with SDE in order to include it in this model curriculum, which would also be beneficial. So that's how we looked at it moving forward. But we'll take your consideration and we'll see. Moving forward, we'll see. We'll talk more about that. But I just wanted to let you know that we did add the civics and citizenship piece to this model curriculum. It wasn't there before.
In the substitute language. Okay, I'm sorry. I appreciate it, Chairman Sanchez. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and I would be interested in staying involved with that as that bill develops to the floor.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Fiorello.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I hear from many parents who want to have more of a say in the curriculum, particularly at these younger ages. And is this bill a work in progress, so to speak? And I didn't see any language here that sort of allows parents to be involved in the curriculum. Maybe this isn't the right vehicle for that. And then secondly, I know it says that it is not a mandate and BOEs have a choice to adopt it or not, but is there a desire among the chairs that it become a mandate?
It won't.
No.
Okay, Senator McCrory. All right.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we can move on. Is this a bill that you guys are comfortable putting on consent?
Mr. Chair, I think we'd need a roll call vote on this bill.
There's a motion on the floor for a roll call vote. I have a motion on the floor for a roll call vote. Can I get, I like to make a motion to have a roll call vote for HB 6619, act concerning development of a kindergarten through 8th grade model curriculum.
So moved.
It's been properly moved by Representative Sanchez and seconded by Senator Bertho. Luz, can you call the roll, please?
Representative Sanchez,
Representative Sanchez, yes.
Senator McCrory,
Yes.
Representative McCarty,
Representative McCarty votes yes.
Senator Bertho,
Senator Berthel votes yes.
Representative Barry,
Representative Barry votes yes.
Senator Doherty Abrams,
Senator Darty Abrams votes yes.
Representative Belinsky,
Representative Belinsky votes yes.
Representative Callahan, Representative Candelaria,
Representative Candelaria votes yes.
Representative Carney,
Representative Carney votes yes.
Senator Champagne,
Senator Champagne votes no.
Representative Cook,
Representative Cook votes yes.
thank you. Representative Comey, Representative Comey votes yes. Thank you. Representative Curry, Representative Curry, Representative Devlin,
Representative Devlin votes yes.
thank you. Representative Exum,
Representative Exum votes yes.
thank you. Representative Felipe,
Representative Felipe votes yes.
thank you. Representative Fiorello,
Representative Fiorello votes no.
thank you. Senator Flexer, Representative Jenga,
Representative Jenga votes yes.
thank you. Representative Gibson,
Representative Gibson votes yes.
thank you. Representative Haynes,
Representative Haynes votes yes.
thank you. Representative Harding,
Representative Harding votes yes.
thank you. Representative Johnson,
Representative Johnson votes yes.
thank you. Representative Kennedy,
Representative Kennedy votes yes.
thank you. Senator Kushner,
Senator Kushner votes yes.
thank you. Representative Leeper,
Representative Leeper votes yes.
thank you. Representative McGee,
Representative McGee votes yes.
thank you. Representative Napoli,
Representative Napoli votes yes.
thank you. Representative Nolan,
Representative Nolan votes yes.
thank you. Representative Parker, Representative Parker, Representative Pettit, Representative Manny Sanchez, Representative Smith,
Second from Representative Fish.
Representative Smith votes yes.
Representative Beach,
Rep. Veach votes yes.
thank you. Representative Willander,
Representative Wheelander votes yes.
thank you. Senator Winfield, and Senator Miller.
I'm here. Senator Miller votes yes.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Chair,
Yes.
The
Are you
vote is
done?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. Next up, we have House Bill number 6620, an act concerning the right to read and addressing opportunity gaps in equity in public schools. We have a JF to approach.
So moved.
It's been properly moved by my co-chair
Second, Nolan.
and seconded by Senator Miller. And I will ask that if you have any questions, I'm going to refer your questions to Senator Pat Billy Miller for an explanation. Thank you. Any questions? Representative McCarthy.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And Senator Billy Miller, there you are. It's nice to see you. I just want to first begin by saying how much I appreciate the concept of this proposal and how I really understand the importance that we have all of our children in our schools reading. The importance of early literacy cannot be overstated, and I think we all agree to that. My reservation on the bill is just for clarification purposes. If you could tell me, because I know during the public hearing, there was discussion of where the Center for Literary Research and Reading Success, where would that actually be housed? And would it be under the guidance of the Department of Education? That seems to be quite a concern throughout what I've been hearing. And then my second question would be, would there be some flexibility offered to districts that are really high performing districts that are meeting all of the necessary standards so that they could have some flexibility, that they would not have to necessarily use the curriculum, those model curriculums that are being suggested by the research center or the department. So I guess it's just those two. And if we could work on that, I'd like to support this because I know how hard you've worked on it over the years. And I also know we've had discussions, and I think you know that I agree with it, that I want to see everyone, all of our students in Connecticut reaching student success. And I like some other parts of the bill that are very good, offering more help to close the opportunity gap and broaden some of the instruction in the alliance districts and the intervention. So I love all of that part of the bill, but those two that I mentioned are my major concerns. I want to support this, but I'd like to get some commitment that we can work on that language. Thank you, Senator.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Representative McCartney. And I want to thank you for your support through the years regarding the work that I've done on literacy. So the answer to your first question is we are working with the State Department of Education. They sent over their recommendations. Unfortunately, we weren't able to meet prior to today's meeting because it's going to take quite a few meetings to kind of go through exactly what they would like to see. But it is agreed that it will be housed with SDE. SDE will oversee the program. But there are some things that we need clarification on. So my team needs to look at their recommendations, and then we're going to be meeting. I spoke to the commissioner last week, and she understands that we couldn't meet prior to today's meeting. But they did get the information, the recommendations, as I had asked last week. As far as the flexibility, every school district, I should say school districts, have the option of opting out. But I think it's important for us to understand that, and I just want to throw some numbers out at you. The Casey Foundation 2020 Kids Count data book, they did an assessment of our fourth graders and found that our fourth graders were reading, 53 were reading, white students were reading proficiently, 17 Black students were reading proficiently, and 20 Hispanic or Latino students were reading, 20% reading proficiently. Now let's flip those numbers and let's look at not proficient. When you look at the numbers not proficient, 47 are reading, white students are not reading proficiently. 83 Black students are not reading proficiently, and 80 white, Hispanic, and Latin students are not reading proficiently. So whether there's a high performing school or low performing school, we still have students in those schools that are not reading proficiently, and we need to address that. So what we're saying is this, that we need to standardize our reading curriculum, our literacy curriculum, and let it be based on the science of reading. That's what we're asking. The center will look at curriculum, review curriculum, and make recommendations. But the commissioner will allow districts to opt out, but they have to meet, the curricula has to meet certain criteria you've seen outlined in the bill. Did I answer your question?
No, you did, and I'm very pleased to hear your remarks, Senator Miller, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about the change in the bill and to stay in touch with you. I want to support it because I know, and you just pointed out, we have a need in the state, and we must get all of our students reading at appropriate grade levels with success. So I am supportive of that. I just want to be sure that and you pointed out that even in high performing districts, there could be certain students that are not meeting those goals. So if there's going to be flexibility and maybe interventions to try to help those particular students get to that level, that sounds like some areas that we could work on to get that language correct. So I really want to recognize you for all of your work, and thank you always for your spirit of cooperation. Thank you, Senator.
Thank
Representative Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I want to thank the good senator for all of her work. Reading is just truly the most thing we need for our kids. Our kids need to develop not even just to be able to read, but love to read for a lifelong readers is what they need to be. I do have a couple questions, and I appreciate the good senator pointing out there is the potential for an opt-out. I don't see that in the language or in the substitute language that we received. I also had some questions with section 9. So right now, I will be voting no to flag this, but looking forward to the new language and supporting it down the road. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the good senator.
And thank you. If I may, Mr. Chair, on line 17, it talks about the commissioner, upon request of a local board, can grant a waiver of the provisions. So I just want to bring that to Representative Kennedy's attention.
Thank you. There are no further questions. Representative Leeper.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, Senator Miller. I completely share your goal in ensuring that every single child in Connecticut has the foundation to be proficient in literacy. And I recognize that this bill is still a work in progress. So I will vote yes to continue that work. I have some concerns about it being so prescriptive to impact every single district, regardless of proficiency. But I recognize that hopefully would continue to be ironed out. And I thank you for your good work.
Thank you, madam.
Any other questions, comments, issues, or concerns? Seeing none, I think, Madam Clerk, we need a roll call vote.
Years ago.
House Bill number 6620, an act concerning the right to read and addressing opportunity gaps and equity in public schools. JF to approach. Representative Sanchez.
Representative Sanchez, yes.
Senator McCrory.
Yes.
Representative McCarty.
Representative McCarty votes yes.
Senator Bertho.
Senator Berthel votes yes.
Representative Berry. Representative Berry votes yes. Senator Doherty Abrams.
Senator Darty Abrams votes yes.
Representative Belinsky. Representative Callahan. Representative Candelaria.
Candelaria votes yes.
Representative Carney.
Representative Carney votes yes.
Senator Champagne.
Senator Champagne votes no.
Representative Cook.
Representative Cook votes yes.
Representative Comey. Representative Comey votes yes. Representative Curry.
Representative Curry votes yes.
Representative Devlin.
Representative Devlin votes yes.
Representative Exum.
Representative Exum votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Felipe.
Representative Felipe votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Fiorello.
Senator Fiorello votes no.
Thank you. Representative Flexer. Representative Jenga.
Representative Jenga votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Gibson. Representative Gibson. Representative Haynes.
Representative Haynes votes yes.
Representative Harding.
Representative Harding votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Johnson.
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Kennedy.
Representative Kennedy votes no to flag.
Thank you. Senator Kushner.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Leeper.
Representative Leeper votes yes.
Representative McGee.
McGee, yes.
Thank you. Representative Napoli.
Representative Napoli votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Nolan.
Representative Nolan votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Parker. Representative Pettit.
Representative Pettit votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Manny Sanchez.
Manny Sanchez votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Smith.
Representative Smith votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Beach.
Representative Veach votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Willander.
Representative Wheelander votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Winfield. And Senator Miller.
Senator Miller votes yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chair?
Yes. Are you done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next item up, we have House Bill 6556, an act addressing issues created by the COVID-19 pandemic on public education in Connecticut. We have a JFS to appropriations with an LCO number 6096.
So moved.
It's been properly moved by co-chair
Second.
and seconded by Representative McGee. Any questions?
Nolan.
Representative McCarty.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Just a comment and then a question at the end. So this bill is really looking to attempt to really understand the learning loss that took place throughout the pandemic. In the first part, I just want, for the benefit of everyone, to understand the statewide mastery tests are being used to identify and to measure learning loss, but they're not being used to report. They're not being used for accountability. It's just to get a sense of where our students are. Is that correct? That's the first part.
You are absolutely right, and maybe I should go over a couple of these sections so if anyone is not clear about what we're doing here, we can be clear. Or unless you can just continue on, Representative McCarty. But you're absolutely right.
No, that would be perfectly fine to go through, but I did have a question on section 5 that concerns the substitute teachers. So that part, I have to tell you, I want to support this bill. I think it's a good bill. We need to find out where the learning loss is and offer the grants for the additional instruction. But to allow high school students with just a diploma to come in and sub, even if it's only for under 10 days. I think during the pandemic, I know the governor had his order out, and that may have made sense when we didn't have enough teachers, but I would hope, I'm going to support the bill today, but I'd like to flag that section and hopefully we can look at it. I know, and I can tell you that even with a certified teacher in a classroom, we've had incidences that resulted in the loss of employment, even impacted a superintendent who lost his position because of something that occurred in the classroom. So I think having a high school student coming in to sub in classroom when they're practically just having graduated, or maybe they could be older and they have just a high school diploma, but I think it does require some experience to be able to go in and sub in a classroom. So I just am flagging that section. I approve of all the other pieces, and I think it's a good proposal. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, and thank you for your concerns. And I was thinking about that myself as I was preparing for this meeting, and I did look at that part. We all know because of the pandemic, it was extremely difficult to not only find substitute teachers, just to find adults to come into the classrooms to provide instruction for one day. And it got so bad during the pandemic that we modified our requirements and did allow high school students. And I'm sure that those districts probably put those students who just graduated from high schools or very young, I will hope that they put them in the classroom with younger people. But you're absolutely right. That was all done during the pandemic. And again, I will ask that you guys support this legislation, and we do look at that part, because I do think that requiring just a high school graduation as we go forward is a little far reaching. So again, I encourage you all again to support this legislation. We'll look at section 5 and have a conversation with SDE to see what kind of requests and concerns that LEAs were having. And if we need to modify this and make it a little stronger or take that part out, I think that's something we can do. Representative Haynes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I have to agree with Representative Kathleen McCarty. I do also think another thing that Kathleen didn't mention was that to put somebody, forgive me, but as young as 18 in the charge of young people, a group of, who knows, 20, 30 people, we're actually doing that 18-year-old a disservice, in my opinion. That is putting the safety of those children, as well as that young person at 18 at a very pressure situation. It's one thing to be able to obviously, continue curriculum due to the fact that the teacher's not available, but to be that only adult at age 18 in front of a group of young children, I don't see that that is an idea that needs to be further looked at. And I appreciate Representative McCarty's concerns, and I'm sure there are others here today that maybe have the same. So I would love it if we could just strike that part and the bill can go through. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Representative Comet.
Thank you very much. So would it be fair to say that this bill is a vehicle for allowing our state Department of Education to use the federal funding that we're receiving to provide additional grants for our summer programs in our communities? Is that really, is that in a nutshell, would you say?
Yeah, so I think you're referring to section 4.
I
Where
thought I was referring to section 2, but maybe.
Yeah, well, so yeah, they kind of wrapped up. So section 2 and 3 requires our alliance districts to provide summer learning instruction, require it for our alliance districts. Yes, that's what sections 2 and 3 does. Section 4 requires SD to work with our rest to support grant recipients for after-school program, and we want to allow SD to keep up to 7.5% of funding rather than the 4%, so that again, we'll have a pot of money so that LEAs can go after school programming dollars for next year. That's exactly what it does.
And I noticed that in the language, it talks about, I guess it would be section 2, about nonprofits being able to
administer programs.
Yeah, or to receive funding for it and to give money and accept money. I guess I'm just trying to make my way through that language, and I thought it's actually section 3, I believe. Lines 56 through 71. I was just wondering if you could break that down for us and what that means. And that's in the new LCO 6096.
Yeah, right, Chris. I don't, Chris. Do you have the bill in front of you? I'm not sure which specific line she's representative is referring to.
Yep. So this language is modeled after I'm just scrolling through. So 10-16X, which is section 4, that's making some minor revisions to the after school program. And what section 3 is modeled after that. It's very similar, but this provides the summer learning programs. So it, I think it does, it's a grant program for boards of ed and municipalities and nonprofits to offer this summer learning program to students. And then in lines 67 to 71, it has a definition of what that is. So
that's, I guess my follow-up question is that also including, say, our departments of recreations who are already, providing our summer learning opportunities and for our communities, and will they be able to also access funding directly from CSDE, or does it have to go through our boards of ed?
No, that's a very good question. So those organizations and those nonprofits can go. Clearly, there has to be an MOU, probably with the local LEA, but those nonprofits should be, and again, that should be something spelled out by SDE. They should, ideally, the nonprofit is in collaboration with the LEA, and they're going after funding to provide supports. That's the idea around it. Okay.
Okay.
And LEA and SDE is used to giving out, administer these grants. They do have those type of arrangements, some MOUs, understandings already available. So this is just an opportunity to expand and put more resources to them.
Well, absolutely. I think that the goal to expand, in the past, our summer programs have been very targeted because we only had so much right. funding and could only handle a handful of kids with the certified teacher staff and the programs, the intervention programs. So I look forward to hopefully getting a lot more kids served with this, and as many different venues or avenues that we can provide education would be welcome in our community.
Yeah, I think this actually, by doing this way, gives more more young people opportunities to take part in this, and also it doesn't take all the resources away from these communities, because you do not necessarily need a certified teacher in that classroom providing these summer learning experiences. Many times, nonprofit organizations in the community will provide a greater, a different version of supports and experiences that our children need, i.e., they might get an opportunity to go to, like I don't want to keep soapbox, but anyway, they can provide a whole lot of things that the school systems don't necessarily provide, and this is an opportunity to let them do that. Any other questions? See none. Is this an opportunity to place this on consent? Okay.
Mr. Chair, I don't recall if we had any flags for no votes within the membership of the committee. So without objection, I think we can place it on consent.
Great. Last bill, HB 6557, Act concerning social emotional learning, LCO 6103.
So moved.
It's been properly moved.
Second by Kennedy.
And Representative Kennedy's properly second.
Yeah, I just didn't hear what the motion and where it was going.
This bill is going to be referred to the JFS to approach with LCO number 6103, appropriations.
Thank you.
Any questions? Senator Champagne, followed by Representative McCarty.
Thank you. And just so I'm on a couple meetings, I just want to verify this is 6557.
6557, yes.
Okay. So this does an annual Minister of Universal Mental Health. Does this get the permission of the parents, or are they doing this test without the permission?
I am almost 100% sure that parents will have to sign off on anything, anyone, any child, any school-age child, yes.
Okay, I didn't see that anywhere in the bill though, and that concerns me, because I don't believe that any parent should be given up their right to decide what happens with their children. So I'm going to probably vote no to flag this with that concern, unless I missed it somewhere in the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's pretty standard practice that in a parent, any child under the age of 18, you have to have consent by the parents, but I don't think we spell it out in any of our language, but that's pretty much standard practice. Representative McCarty.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And I was going to just pose that question that Senator Champagne made. I think I did ask the commissioner at one point that there would be parental engagement. The good news is that the Department of Education is already working on this assessment, and we'll have it ready for us to go at no cost to the districts. This is such an important proposal that came from a lot of the work out of the Social Emotional Collaborative Task Force, because we all know that throughout the pandemic, the social emotional needs of our students was really heightened, all of the trauma and all of the other needs. So this bill is an attempt to really look at our districts to try to ensure that they have social emotional learning in place, to offer professional development training, and to really understand the importance of social emotional learning. I know this bill is going over to PROPS, and I was very pleased to see that the language was put in the substitute, that it was within available resources, because I think the ratios right now are somewhat unrealistic. If you look throughout our districts, they really would have trouble meeting some of these requirements. Particularly, I think there's already a shortage of family therapists and some of the professions that are identified in this proposal. So I know it's going over to approps, but I would like to see some more work done on that section, so that we can encourage our districts to continuously try to be moving to have the good and appropriate guidelines. And I know it's not right now a mandate on them to fulfill these ratios, but even putting those numbers there within available resources may be somewhat difficult. And then I just would like a little clarification. It is encouraging the schools to adopt the comprehensive school counseling guidelines, I believe, if you want to comment on that. And then it also, I think, takes the social emotional learning piece out of the accountability index, because I think we heard that SDE is still working in that area. So if you could just comment on those two, but I really hope that we can get something done on social emotional learning this session. It's the right time to do it. So I'm hoping we can get it through approps with those changes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Did you hear the question about the accountability index?
Oh, I am so sorry. I didn't know it was the question.
Just tune me out.
No. It's just getting that part. What section, Representative McCarty, the index you're referring to?
Let me see what section. I know it was removed from the bill. I just want to have clarification that it's something that the Department of Education is working on, and that it was somewhat premature to hold that social emotional learning on an accountability index. I think it was section 6.
I think it was section, was it 6, the accountability index?
Yeah.
Well, what I forget what section, but it was taken out because we were probably getting ahead of ourselves. We felt as though we were probably getting a little ahead of ourselves, and that's why that was actually, that piece of the legislation was taken out. Like you said, there's a great deal of work that went on. We had a whole committee that's working on social emotional learning, and all it was predicated on what happened during clearly what happened during COVID-19. But this is something that we should have been doing a long time ago. And this is an opportunity for SD to come up with some guidelines and collaborate with all those partners that have been doing a great job of bringing this together. Especially our parents and our school social workers and the entire team. So yeah, I think we took that part out because we think we were probably getting ahead of ourselves. But it's something we can come back and revisit at a later time after we get this.
Yeah, and if I may just continue, and I'm so pleased to see that the Department of Education is continuing to work on the K through, we know we have the K through 3 standards, but they're in the midst of working on the standards from the 4th grade up. So it's all good work going on. The one piece that and we've talked about this before, we know that we have to do more with suicide prevention and educating our students and building awareness. And I know we had asked in the past to put on the student ID card the numbers for the crisis center, and we were told that a letter would go out. If not, also that it could go on the computer on the QR. So I would I'm not saying anything today, but going forward, if we could try to really push that notion, and if not, then maybe at some point add that the Department of Education gets that information out to the district so we can do all that we can. It goes along very well with the social emotional learning. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
And in the last piece, I just want to add to this. I really enjoy section 15, which SBE in collaboration with the Social Emotional Learning Collaborative will develop and adopt a model curriculum that integrates social emotional learning and strategies to help students who experience trauma. So many of our students have experienced trauma through this COVID-19, and the idea that these two organizations are going to work together to come up with strategies to help those students is very beneficial and important. And also like the fact that in section 16, we're going to put our money where our mouth is and appropriate $10 million in each of the fiscal years 22 and 23 to actually get this work done. Any other questions or comments?
If I may just have one final privilege to say that I am really hoping that if this gets over to approps and there's too great a price tag on it, that we can preserve those sections of the bill that do a tremendous amount of good in our districts, because I don't want to lose this opportunity to really increase the social emotional, what you just said, Senator McCrory, throughout our curriculum and development. I think it's the opportune time and we don't want to lose it. So let's work together. And I know you're on approach there with me, so we'll be looking to preserve
Absolutely.
those of the bill that we can. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
Representative Wielander.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to thank the committee for the work on this. I think it's an incredibly important bill. It's something that I have been focused on for a long time, social emotional learning and making our schools better, safer, and healthier places. And I think it would be fantastic if it could move forward as a whole piece, because we heard during testimony that taking this action now will actually save our district's money in the long run. So I hope we are able to really invest in all of our schools, all of our staff, and make this really incredibly important social emotional based learning curriculum and support work happen. So thank you very much to everyone who put all the time and effort into this. It's greatly appreciated on my end, and I'm sure by others.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Seeing none, is there a possibility that we can put this bill on consent? I would like to make a motion to put this. Oh, wait a minute. I think Senator.
I believe Senator Champagne,
Right.
were you looking for a roll call on this, Senator?
Roll call.
Okay,
Yes, roll call.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
House Bill number 6557, an act concerning social and emotional learning, JFS, to approach LCO number 6103. Representative Sanchez,
Representative Sanchez, yes.
Senator McCrory,
Yes.
Representative McCarty,
Representative McCarty votes yes.
Senator Bertho,
Senator Berthel votes yes.
Representative Berry,
Representative Berry votes yes.
Senator Doherty Abrams.
Senator Darty Abrams votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Belinsky.
Representative Belinsky votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Callahan.
Representative Callahan votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Candelaria.
Candelaria votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Carney.
Representative Carney votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Champagne.
Senator Champagne votes no.
Thank you. Representative Cook.
Representative Cook votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Comey.
Representative Comey votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Curry.
Representative Curry votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Devlin.
Representative Devlin votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Exum.
Representative Exum votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Felipe.
Representative Felipe votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Fiorello.
Representative Fiorello votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Flexer. Representative Jenga.
Representative Jenga votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Gibson.
Representative Gibson votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Haynes.
Representative Haynes votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Harding.
Representative Harding votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Johnson.
Representative Johnson votes, I'm sorry, hello. Representative Johnson votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Kennedy.
Representative Kennedy votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Kushner.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Leeper.
Representative Leeper votes yes.
Thank you. Representative McGee.
Representative McGee votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Napoli.
Representative Napoli votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Nolan.
Representative Nolan votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Parker. Representative Pettit.
Representative Pettit votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Manny Sanchez.
Rep. Manny Sanchez votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Smith.
Representative Smith votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Beach.
Rep Veach votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Willander.
Representative Wieelander votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Winfield. And Senator Miller.
Senator Miller votes yes.
Thank you. Mr. Chair?
Madam Clerk, I'm going to ask you to call the consent calendar, and then after that, I'm going to mention that we're going to leave the votes open to 2:15.
Thank you.
Okay, so can you please call the consent calendar?
Senate Bill number 977, an act concerning virtual learning, JFS to appropriations, LCO 6105. Senate Bill number 1034, an act concerning minority teacher recruitment and retention, JFS to appropriations, LCO 6088. And Senate Bill number 1035, an act concerning the development of new performance assessment for teacher preparation programs, JFS to the floor, LCO 6100, and House Bill number 6556, an act addressing issues created by the COVID-19 pandemic on public education in Connecticut, JFS to approves, LCO number 6096. Representative Sanchez.
Representative Sanchez, yes.
Senator McCory.
Yes.
Representative McCarty.
Representative McCarty votes yes.
Senator Bertho.
Senator Berthel votes yes.
Representative Berry.
Representative Berry votes yes.
Senator Doherty Abrams. Representative Belinsky.
Senator Belinsky votes yes.
Representative Callahan.
Representative Callahan votes yes.
Representative Candelaria.
Representative Candelaria votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Carney.
Representative Carney votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Champagne.
Medical students are graduating.
Senator
with
Champagne votes
hard for them
yes.
to make the decision to work in primary care or to work in a health center.
Mute
Health-
someone.
Representative Cook.
Representative Cook votes yes.
Representative Comey.
Representative Comey votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Curry.
Representative Curry votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Devlin.
Representative Devlin votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Exum.
Representative Exum votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Felipe.
Representative Felipe votes yes.
Representative Felipe, can you come on your camera?
Representative Felipe votes yes.
There you go. Thank you. Representative Fiorello.
Representative Fiorello votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Flexer. Representative Jenga.
Representative Jenga votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Gibson.
Representative Gibson votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Haynes.
Representative Haynes votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Harding.
Representative Harding votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Johnson.
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Kennedy.
Representative Kennedy votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Kushner.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Leeper.
Representative Leeper votes yes.
Thank you. Representative McGee.
McGee votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Napoli.
Representative Napoli votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Nolan.
Representative Nolan, yes.
Thank you. Representative Parker. Representative Pettit.
Representative Pettit votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Manny Sanchez.
Manny Sanchez votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Smith.
Representative Smith votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Veach.
Representative Veach votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Wallender.
Representative Wiehlander votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Winfield. And Senator Miller.
Senator Miller votes yes.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, may I vote, please? I was having some technical difficulties
Yes,
earlier.
yes, you may.
Senator Mary Darty Abrams votes yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We're gonna leave the votes again open to 2:15. I believe this concludes our final hearing meeting, I should say. And before
how much could be changed? Because we have
I would like to thank all of you committee members, first and foremost, for putting in the time, putting in the work, staying the long hours, listening to the public, listening to their concerns, adopting them, and helping us create legislation that will move all our children and our families forward. Again, I think we had a very, very successful year. The work is not over. Please stay diligent and mindful of new legislation or new wordings that we put out. Like I said, education is not political at all. I would like to think it's not. It's very bipartisan, and that's why we're so successful as a committee in moving things forward. So again, I want to thank all you guys for all your work, and I'm gonna pass it on to my co-chair and my ranking members to thank the staff, because if I start and if I forget somebody's name, I wouldn't be able to sleep with myself. So Bobby, you could take it from there, brother.
Thank you, my co-chair, and it's a pleasure always working with you, Doug, and with our ranking members, and of course our staff, Mary Beth, and Chris, and John, and of course our clerk, Luz Suba, who does an outstanding job to keep this together. And if you notice my screen moving back and forth, it's not the wind, it's my cat. My cat decided to jump on the table, and she wants to get all into the screen, and her whiskers were all over the place. So it's, it's not the wind. But thank you so much, everyone, for in this committee. This is the best committee, I have to say. It's the best committee up there at the Capitol in the state of Connecticut. I can't ask for any better ranking members than I have in Representative McCarty and Senator Berthel. It's just been a pleasure working with all of you. So thank you so much, and I'll pass it now on to Representative McCarty.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I too would like to echo the same comments that have been made. It's truly and indeed a pleasure to work with each and every committee member here. And you did frame it very well. This is a bipartisan committee, and we work so well, all of us together. I could not ask for better leadership in Senator McCrory and Representative Sanchez, who really listen to us and work in collaboration with us. And we do our best to try to really come to good sound agreements that are going to impact our students. It's always student-centered, and I appreciate those comments. I do want to recognize our two attorneys, Marie Schweitzer and Chris, and I never say your name right, Chris, but Savagin, I think is how you say it. They're excellent and help us so much, along with all of the staff that you mentioned, OLR and LCO. This is a team effort and teamwork on the education committee. And I'm actually going to miss everyone. We'll be back, but we have a ways to go to get these proposals out to the floor. But I'll look forward to seeing and meeting you all in person hopefully in the future. Thank you all for the great work. It's a pleasure working with you. Thank you, Chairman.
Oh, and absolutely. And Senator Berthel, I'm sure you had some comments.
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I echo all of what the three of you have already said. I would just add even a greater shout out to our great clerk. None of the work of this committee would get done without Luce and her constant communication and keeping us informed and getting things out, even late on a Sunday night, getting emails for things. So Luz, thank you very much for your dedication and continued hard work. And to our newest members of the General Assembly who just were elected this past November, I think we've demonstrated to you, this leadership team has been in place now. I think this is it's either our second or third cycle altogether. And, I think we've demonstrated to you how, at the risk of offending a whole bunch of people, I'll say this out loud, we've demonstrated to you how a committee should work. And how it gets things done on a bipartisan basis. We can have really healthy and good arguments about stuff and not agree with each other. But I think at the end of the day, we form good compromise. We come up with good solutions. We can still not support something if we don't want to. But we again, and I think we do this because we have a very high mission, as I started with when we opened the meeting a couple hours ago, is that our charge here is the children of the state of Connecticut. And I don't think there's anything more important than that. We have a very high responsibility to make sure we're doing what's right for every child in every corner of this great state, no matter where they live, no matter where they come from, whatever it may be. And I think we're doing a good job. So thank you to our newest members, and to Doug, to Bobby, Kathleen, thank you. It's a pleasure to work with you.
Listen, thank you. And listen, I have something to say, and I'm just laughing for our newer members. I'm not gonna say it, but you're gonna learn. But you guys, again, you guys been great. I mean, you guys been you've added so much value to this committee, and I appreciate your enthusiasm. Keep up the good work. Continue to do your homework, so when you come, you will be informed, and you can make very good informed opinions and judgments and know-how. Just it takes you time to learn this process. I got on this committee as a freshman. I probably didn't open my mouth until my second term because I wanted to learn. And what you can do or should do is sit back and learn and watch, and you will be very effective. This is a very collaborative committee, and some of you I've met personally. I appreciate your phone calls, because when you do give me a phone call, you want to learn how the process works and how you can get things done. So continue your efforts. And lastly, before I close my mouth, I want to thank OFA. Alan, you've been a blessing. Sarah, great job. Moneybags, Janelle, you know who you are. I appreciate all you guys' work. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm done. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
And I just wanted to also thank Heather and Dallas, and of course, Janelle. You mentioned Moneybags, Janelle.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone.
Till we meet
Madam
again.
Clerk.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank Liz as well. Thank you, Liz.
People that have to
Clerk,
vote
someone's
can stay
calling.
on.
Hold on.
If you have to vote, stay on.
Thank you.
Madam
Bye
Clerk.
now.
Yes, Representative Tenga?
I want to cast the votes that I missed.
Hold on. Representative Jenga, you are all set.
I didn't miss the first vote.
You did not. You are all set.
Wow, thank you very much, Luz.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Great job,
Thank you. Have a good one.
as always.
I lose.
Representative Carney.
I don't think I missed anything, but I
Okay.
was,
Yep, let me just double check while I have you on. You did not. You're
okay.
off.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Luz. Bye.
Have a good one.
Yeah, Luz, I think I'm in the same boat. I don't know if I missed anything, but I might have missed
Yeah.
one.
That's okay. I'll be happy to check. Representative Felipe. Representative Felipe, you're all set.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
You too.
Hi, Luz. This is Bobby Gibson.
Hi, Representative Gibson.
I went out to bus duty. I'm not sure if I missed a vote.
That's okay. Let me just double check for you. Yes, so House Bill number 6620, an act concerning the right to read and addressing opportunity gaps and equity in public schools. That's a JF to approves.
My vote is Representative Gibson votes yes.
Thank you.
Great job this year, Luz, as always.
Thank you. Thank you. You have a good one, sir.
You too. Bye, guys. Minnie!
So Representative Smith. Okay, that's good.
I was toggling back and forth, Luz, so I
That's okay. You're all set, Representative.
got everything.
Representative
Thank you, Luz,
Smith.
and thank you this morning for the link. I'm obviously confused, but I'm getting there. Appreciate it.
That's okay. You're
Thanks for your
welcome.
great work.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. You have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Hello, Representative Candelaria.
Yeah, hello. Do I have any missed votes?
Yep, I'm gonna double check right now. Nope, you are all set.
Bill number 6619.
Yeah,
I missed it because I was in on the meeting that was set.
nope, you didn't miss it. I have your vote.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you're all set. Thank you. Now, Representative Sanchez, Manny, yes, I have missed votes for you.
Okay.
Okay, so I have, you did vote on the consent. And so Senate Bill 1033, an act concerning the inclusion of computer science and financial literacy as part of the high school graduation requirement, JFS to the floor. LCO number 6172.
Representative Sanchez votes yes.
Thank you. And then I also have House Bill number 6619, an act concerning the development of a kindergarten to 8th grade model curriculum, JFS to approves, LCO number 6087.
Representative Sanchez votes yes.
Thank you. And you're all set.
Thank you, Luz.
Okay, thank you. You have a good one.
You too.
Representative Pettit. Hello, sir.
Some sort of. I missed 6619, did I lose?
Let me, you did vote for the consent calendar. And you did vote for 6620.
I'm not trying to create more registries or more work for others, but
You missed
given the fact that it is
number 6619.
Would there be some?
Yes,
An
on
act
6.
concerning, yep, an act concerning the development of a kindergarten to 8th grade model curriculum, JFS to
Much as we
approve.
have for blood banks?
Yes.
Absolutely. I think that would be fantastic.
Thank you.
And then you also missed, oh, no, I got your vote. Okay, you're all set. Representative Pettit? Okay. I think you're all set. Representative Callahan?
Yes, ma'am. What did I miss?
Okay.
Numerous committees today.
So you did vote for the consent calendar.
Yes.
You voted for 6557. I have no vote for you for House Bill number 6620, an act concerning the right to read and addressing opportunity gaps and equity in public schools, JF to appropriations.
That's a yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. And I don't have a vote for you for 6619, an act concerning the development of a kindergarten to 8th grade model curriculum, JFS to approves.
That's no, Madam Administrator.
Okay, thank you. And then, yep, you're all set for the rest.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Have a good day, everyone.
You too.
And I'm sorry, Luz, they called me in public health when you were trying to finish up with me. I'm sorry. I had asked somebody a question.
That's
I'm good?
okay. You're all set. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Curry?
Hello.
Hello, you're missing a vote on House Bill number 6619.
That is a yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. You have a good one.
You too. Take care, Chris.
Hello. I think we're good.
Did I texted Rep. Sanchez, did anybody officially recess the meeting?
No, they can't recess.
Oh, no, they can recess. They just can't adjourn.
Oh, well, I think Sanchez did. No, that's incorrect. McCory indicated that votes will be held open until 2:15.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Because I documented it.
All right. Is there anything else you need from me at this time?
I don't think so.
Okay, and then we'll talk to John and Mary Beth about getting everything sorted out and so.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. Hey, Dallas, great job this year. I think you had by far the worst role or function in terms of interrupting people during all the public hearings.
To be honest, I got kind of used to it. Got a little fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I saw that.
I appreciate it though.
Yeah.
That's very
But anyway, take care, and I'll see you guys. I'm sure we'll have some referred bill meetings. And Luz, real quick, if we do get any bills before our JF deadline next Monday,
yes.
The only time that we have to have or hold a meeting would be after that date. So if we get any bills that the chair, if we receive any bills that the chairs are not interested in pursuing, or or if the committee doesn't want to pursue, then we don't have to hold a meeting. It's just after April 5th or whatever that we do.
So if we receive bills from this point forward, right?
No, next Monday. So starting next Tuesday, we'd have to have we would have the meetings outside the hall of the House.
Yeah.
For the Senate. Those meetings would start. But if say a committee referred a bill to us tomorrow, and it came to us, the joint rules don't require that we have to hold a meeting to take action on it.
Okay. So just to let you know, I got a text that, let's see, they're questioning. 881.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about that afterwards. Because I think, yeah, we gotta talk to the chairs about that one.
Yes.
So.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Luz. Thanks, Dallas.
Thanks for your work this year, Chris.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
Bye.
Luz, if you
I
want,
stopped recording, so
great. And Luz, if you
long time ago.
send me any new votes that we get, I can add them to
Yep.
yeah, to the rest of it, and I will.
There was too many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So I have to get Representative Parker, Senator Flexer, Senator Winfield.
Yeah.
There's too many of them. Representative Parker missed quite a bit. I don't know. I saw him in the car.
He was, it's weird. I don't think he voted on any, but he was in at the very beginning and asked a question. So,
Right. So I was a little
down for it.
confused as to where
Yeah.
did he go? I know he was here. So
Yeah, he's in for attendance, but Belinsky's missing one or two as well.
yes.
Yeah, 620.
Walensky? Yes,
Yeah.
he's missing 6620. And then he's only 6620, only one.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, that's all.
Yep, I got the same thing.
Yeah.
Cool. And yeah, I don't have notes for missing anybody else. So it looks like just Parker, Flexer, and Winfield, other than Belinsky for that one.
All right, thank you.
Definitely. Talk to you later.
Bye. Hello, Senator Winfield.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
Hey,
So on consent, they voted Senate Bill 977, Senate Bill 1034, Senate Bill 1035, and House Bill number 6556.
okay,
That was on consent.
okay, yep, I'm good with that.
Okay, that's a yes.
That is a yes, I'm in affirmative.
Thank you. And then a roll call was House Bill number 6619. Senate
I
Bill
don't,
10.
I don't have I don't have the thing in front of me because I'm
Sure.
doing judiciary. If you could just remind me.
Absolutely. House Bill number 6619, an act concerning the development of a kindergarten to 8th grade model curriculum, JFS to approach LC number 6087.
In the, Senator Winfield in the affirmative.
Thank you. And this was also a roll call. Senate Bill 1033, an act concerning the inclusion of computer science and financial literacy as part of the high school graduation requirements, JFS to the floor, LCO number 6172.
Senator Winfield in the affirmative.
Thank you. And House Bill number 6620, an act concerning the right to read and addressing opportunity gaps and the equity in public schools, JF to approach.
Senator Winfield in the affirmative.
Thank you. And House Bill number 6557, an act concerning social and emotional learning, JFS to approach, LCO number 6103.
Senator Winfield in the affirmative.
Thank you. You're all set.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye. Representative Parker? Hello, sir. You're muted.
How about now?
There you go.
Being flexible with
Okay.
this, I appreciate
So
it.
that's okay. So they voted several bills on consent. And I just want to, yep, you were not in. So
Correct.
Senate Bill 977,
Yep.
which is an act concerning virtual learning. That's the JFS to appropriations, LCO number 6105.
Yep.
Senate Bill number 1034, an act concerning minority teacher recruitment and retention, JFS to appropriations, LCO number 6088.
Great.
And Senate Bill number 1035, an act concerning the development of a new per-service performance assessment for teacher preparation programs, JFS to the floor, LCO number 6100. And House Bill number 6556, an act addressing issues created by the COVID-19 pandemic on public education in Connecticut, JFS to appropriations, LCO 6096.
1035 was a real mouthful, huh? Performance assessment, preparation programs, all that. But thank you for all that. And I vote yes. I vote yes to
Okay.
the consent. Yeah.
All right, so that was the consent calendar.
Good.
And then the roll calls, there was 6619, an act concerning the development of a kindergarten to 8th grade model curriculum. That's
Yep.
a JFS to approach of LCO number 6087.
I vote yes.
Thank you. And a roll call as well for House Bill number 6620, an act concerning the right to read and addressing opportunity gaps and equity in public schools. That's a JF to approach.
I vote yes.
Representative Parker votes yes. And Senate Bill 1033, an act concerning the inclusion of computer science and financial literacy as part of the high school graduation requirement, JFS to the floor, LCO number 6172.
I vote yes.
Thank you. Representative Parker votes yes. And House Bill number 6557, an act concerning social and emotional learning. That's a JFS to approach LCO number 6103.
I vote
Representative
yes.
Parker, thank you. And you're all set.
Thank you so much, Luz. I appreciate you.
Thank you. You have a
Bye-bye.
wonderful day. Bye-bye. Hello, hello. You're still there? Hello? You talking to me? Yeah. Oh, let me call you right back. Okay, honey. All right, bye. Hello. Hello, Senator Flexer. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good, good. So, okay, so on consent, the following bills are on consent. Senate Bill number.
Madam Clerk, I know what bills are on consent,
Okay, good.
so I'd like to vote yes.
Okay, thank you. And then the roll call was House Bill number 6619.
And I'd like to vote yes.
Okay, thank you. And 6620.
I'd like to vote yes.
Thank you. And 1033.
I'd like to vote yes.
Thank you. And 6557.
And I'd like to vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
So much.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello,
Hello, Representative Belinsky.
how are you? Thank you for the call.
No, not a problem. Okay, so I do have you voting on the consent,
Right.
on the consent calendar. So that's good. Okay, so let's see, I do have you on 1033. I do not have a vote for House Bill number 6620, an act concerning the right to read and addressing opportunity gaps and equity in public schools. That's a JF to approach.
Okay, I'm a yes there.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And that was it. That was the only vote you were missing.
Terrific. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, you have a good one.
You too. See you soon,
Bye-bye.
hopefully. Bye-bye.